Happy Friday and welcome to the Rotary Club of Fort Worth. For our invocation, let's welcome to the stage Mark Maurer, Account Executive with Spectrum Business, who will be followed by Harriet Harrell, Principal with the Harrell Group, playing our national anthem.
Thank you, President Rebecca. Some years ago, I was asked to invocate, and feeling that my daughter might have delivered a more sincere, honest approach, she did. She wrote it down for me. So this was maybe 2017. So I brought it for luck, and because Mama didn't raise no fool, I went to my ace again and asked her to craft another one. This one came in text form because we're high tech as juniors in high school. So for Haley Maurer's second reading, I'll ask you to pray with me. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Lord, I pray over this meal and that the food nourishes our body, and bless the hands that prepared it. I pray over everyone with this weather, that everyone stays warm and healthy. We thank you for all your blessings. We love and trust you. In your name I pray. Amen. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark and Harriet, for that. Now to welcome our wonderful visitors. Josh Friend. Josh Friend with UTA. Welcome.
Hello, everybody. So we have three guests of Michelle Krim today, Amber Case, Beth Littner, who are both traveling Rotarians from Burleson, and Betsy Budge. We have three guests of Roland Johnson, Cindy Johnson, Jerry Thompson, and Diego Thompson, right over there. We have Mike Berkowitz, a guest of Mike Herman. We have Austin Baird, a guest of Lauren Prieur. We have Jake Zalak, a guest of Garrett Hadley. John Henry, guest of Mark Maurer. And Imi Khan, guest of Steve Kessler. Welcome all of our guests.
Thank you, Josh. And to our visitors, we're so glad you chose to join us today. Welcome. Now let's take a moment to thank our amazing sponsors for today's program, not only for their continued support of our club, but our community. K&L Enterprises. Thank you so much, Karen and Larry Anfin. What time is it? It's that time. Four-way test time. Time to recite the four-way test. What is that, as our guest may ask? It's the roadmap we live by throughout our days as we interact with others. You can watch the screen. First. Second. Is it all? Third. Will it be all good, woman, better? And fourth. Will be beneficial to all concerned. Great job, everyone. Good job, well done. And now it is time for our new tradition, Table Talk. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to the stage Ms. Kathy Neese-Brown, Chief Strategy Officer and VP Mission Support with James L. West. Ms. Kathy.
Okay, following our tradition, you are to talk amongst yourselves, and we are not asking for any reporting out. Just speak amongst yourselves at the table. And so your question is based on the four-way test, and it is think about a mentor, start thinking, who has made a big impact on your life. How did they embody the values of truth, fairness, goodwill, and benefiting others. Which part of the four-way test reminds you the most of them? 5 minutes. There you go.
everyone. Great job, great job. I hear lots of conversation, so I think it went off well. Who would like to share something they learned about someone's mentor? Anybody like to share something they learned? Anyone? Oh, some of you are still talking. Well, sorry. You have 15 seconds. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Did anybody learn something new that they appreciated, enjoyed about learning from somebody? Exactly. That's what we thought. Thank you, Kathy. And now it's time for a few announcements. We'll first hear from Ryan Barrera, Chief Advancement Officer with Campfire First Texas, with a community outreach update. But first, we'll hear from Key Bryant and Abby Dudek with an International Committee announcement.
Ready? Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. Oh, wait, I need to give you a chance to take a picture because you know you like to get bad pictures of me. Okay, no more pictures. We're excited to share a special opportunity for you to make a direct impact on students at the International Newcomers Academy, a school dedicated to supporting recently arrived immigrants and refugee students as they adjust to life and schooling in the U.S. We, the International Committee, are raising $5,000. That's your time to cheer. Woo! $5,000, yeah, okay. To provide 20 students with brand new bikes and safety equipment, rewarding them for their academic achievement and their strong character. For many of these students, bikes mean more than just transportation. It means freedom, independence, and a tool for success. Now, Abby, tell them a little bit more about biking.
Where do I begin? First off, helmet for safety, okay? And it can be dangerous getting off the stage too. So I can lend it to anybody else today that may need it. So I can tell you right now that biking saved my life. I know you all know my story and things like that, but it's also good for mental health. It's a great way to clear your mind, and it's a way how I get a lot of my artistic ideas. If you check out the Fort Worth Rotary page, then, you know, it opens my mind and gets me more clear on what I need to do and just get a good mental health, but also take care of my vascular system also.
So that says it all. That's why we need your help. So one bike and its fully loaded safety equipment costs $250 to sponsor. If today, at every table, you all made a $30 donation, we could be very, very close to reaching our goal. So at your table, you see flyers with the QR code. It should also be on the screen. Nobody can miss it. We made sure. We made sure. Right here, thank you. Where's my cheering section? You remember, hold the flyers up. Woo! Yeah, I queued some of these people up, you know, that's what I did. So $30 today, or a full bike donation. I want to give a shout out to Randall Howard for our first bike donation there in the bag, and to Derek Moffitt for our second bike donation. So that means we've got 18 to go. Who's donating today? Raise your hand, raise your hand. Who's donating today? Let's get these bikes for these scholars. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Key and Abby. That's awesome. Everyone, as I said, if you cannot use the QR code on the screen, it is on a flyer there at each of your tables. And for a lot of people, that bike is freedom, it's transportation. So thank you. Thank you all. We'll be working hard on that with you ladies. Now today we do have a grant award, but first I want to welcome past President Jim Witten of Council with Brackett and Ellis for our Grants in Action announcement. This update shares how you as Rotarians in this Rotary Club impact our community.
Thank you, President Rebecca. Do I own it now? No. A little over 3 years ago, the Center for Transforming Lives Capital Campaign Steering Committee, which is chaired by our own Mike Bickley and his wife Susie, took on the task of raising $39 million to buy, rebuild, and equip a new center. We've been for over 100 years over here at 514 West 4th Street, 512 West 4th Street, in our historic building. Now, historic is a nice way of saying the building is very old, very expensive to maintain, no longer suits the purpose of CTL, and it's not convenient for the people we serve. So, friends, thanks to hundreds of generous donors, including a gift from our club's children's fund of $5,000, Center for Transforming Lives has exceeded the $39 million goal. The new Riverside campus will be open in May. Now, oh, it's already up there. You see up there on the left, that's what the building looked like when we bought it. It's the old Montgomery Ward's warehouse at the corner of East Berry and South Riverside. It was a crumbling building surrounded by a deteriorating parking lot. You can see on the right what it's going to look like in just a few months. That dark line in the rendering of the roof, that's actually a courtyard that we put into this block. And in the next slide, please, you can see a rendering of what that courtyard will look like and what it looked like a few weeks ago in the construction. And because you cannot do a PowerPoint these days without featuring a QR code so that people can get more information, there it is, along with a nice picture of Mike and Cindy. The Riverside campus is in the heart of the neighborhoods that CTL serves. The campus will be served itself by a Trinity Metro bus stop and a nearby Trinity Metro transfer station. It will have 3 times the space of our current headquarters and will allow CTL to consolidate all of its services and increase those services by 30%. The new campus will have a child development center, an economic mobility center, a commercial kitchen and makerspace, counseling rooms, a house connection center, case management offices, and a donation distribution center. All these things CTL has been doing from facilities all over Fort Worth will now be consolidated in this one point. And by the way, that child development center is going to have a playground, and our gift will help underwrite the cost of the playground equipment. Center for Transforming Lives literally helps homeless women and their children move from poverty to prosperity. CTL provides free early Head Start and Head Start education. Over 90% of the children who go through CTL's pre-K education program are ready for kindergarten. 90%, think about that. CTL also provides free after-school childcare, and while it educates their children, CTL helps the mothers pursue their own education or pursue a career, open their own businesses, all while their children are safe and thriving. On behalf of the Center for Transforming Lives, thank you. Thank you for making this vision a reality.
Thank you so much, Jim. That is the difference you're making in your community. Thank you so much. And now please help me welcome Mike Baylor, owner Michael Baylor CPA, to announce today's grant award.
Mr. Whitten, you're a little bit of a tough act to follow. Today's grant is to Justin's Place, which is a great organization that is in the process of building a facility called The Nest. The Nest will ultimately house 24 single mothers. And the goal of the organization is to help these mothers deal with all the challenges that they face every day. So accepting the grant today is Maggie Harrison. Thank you, Maggie. Now, I'll do a quick follow-up on what Jim Whitten was talking about. The grants that Maggie just received and the other grants that we make are as a result of the funding that we give, that we, the Rotarians, give to our Children's Fund and Endowment Fund. And one of the things I want to make a point of, I think some of the people, not most, but a few of the people in the room today probably don't realize that we actually have 3 separate entities when we refer to it as the Rotary Club. The Rotary Club is not a charitable organization. It's a tax-exempt organization, but it's not a charitable organization. The other two, the endowment fund and the children's fund, accept charitable donations. The grant committee receives grants. We try and make a determination of which grants are worthwhile, and we make awards at that time. In this case, Justin's Place was one of those recipients. Thank you. Okay.
Well, congratulations to Justin's Place. We look forward to you returning with an update to our grants in action in the future. And I'm just going to go ahead and make an ask, and Ed, get ready. What about a tour of the new CTL facility and a future tour of the Nest for some of our Rotary members who would be interested? If I could put that out there, I would love that. If you could take that back and see what we can do.
May 2nd, it's a Friday at 10:30.
May 2nd, grand opening at 10:30. Okay. Okay, thank you. You know some people. We appreciate that. Appreciate that. And I'm going to do one more. Do you have an announcement? Right, would you want to come up real quick and give that, and then we'll move on to our program. Everyone, please help me welcome Ryan Barrera with a community service announcement.
You would think I ran here with my recent running times, getting ready for this weekend's Cowtown. Apologies for being late. Yeah, I was going to pitch for Rotarians to consider joining our 5K team. It is tomorrow morning, but it is sold out. So I encourage you to get out if you can and enjoy, a brisk morning out and then cheer on I think we have 8 Rotarians signed up for the 5K. If you just look for Fernando Acosta, I'm about 10 minutes behind him, at least. Fernando's a beast out there. But thanks to the Rotarians that signed up. One way that you can support is we do support through the Cowtown Marathon, their CAF program, to provide a love for fitness for kiddos and grants and shoes so that they can partake in running. So what you can do is look for the team section of the Cowtown Marathon website, search Rotary Club of Fort Worth, you'll find us. And if you want to make a donation, that's what it goes to support. So thank you all, and look forward to tomorrow morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. And see, there's something for everyone. You do not have to run, you do not even have to walk. And there's other ways that you can contribute and participate, so thank you. And now it's time to introduce our chairperson and interviewer of the day, our past president, Carlo Capria, Chief of Strategy and Innovation with the City of Fort Worth. Welcome, Carlo.
Thank you, President Rebecca. Well, few events have the power to unite the world quite like soccer. And we are so fortunate to have with us today the architect of the FIFA World Cup bid for Dallas when it comes to right here in North Texas in 2026. So to get you all excited, let's show you a quick preview of what's to come next year. Who's ready for the World Cup next year? So we are fortunate to have with us today the director of the Dallas Sports Commission, Monica Paul, and I'm going to tell a few things that you can't find out in her bio, that I did a little research. So if you're going to rank the top 50 sports cities in the world, it is generally regarded that Dallas is at the top of that list. And I'll tell you a little bit about Monica, who leads, she's responsible for that statistic. She was valedictorian at her high school in Caldwell, Texas, right outside of College Station. As a student, she was very involved in golf, volleyball, basketball, shot put, discus. And ultimately, volleyball became her lead sport. She has an undergraduate from UT and a master's from the University of Northern Colorado. And would you please help me welcome Monica Paul. Thank you for being here. So what I love about Monica is that she is a big deal, and especially in Dallas. She was interviewed, I didn't tell her I was going to show this, but she was interviewed by D Magazine in February, and they called her, essentially they called her the wizard behind all the cool sports stuff, so much so that they actually made this graphic of her that featured her and all of the cool events that she has brought. Can you go, actually, Monica, can you go from left to right at the bottom and talk about what are each one of those events, starting with the one on the bottom left?
You know, this is the time where you should preview somebody's slides before they put you up on stage. But I'll get him back on this one. It's okay. It's okay. Well, it looks like we have definitely soccer down there. That could take many forms from Gold Cup standpoint. World Cup coming up. We've got WWE. I can't tell what the top one is. Yeah, probably rugby, as we have Rugby World Cup, candidate host city for 2031 and 2033. You've got some women's basketball up there. Oh yes, our great football landscape, and then our NCAA basketball as well. So Final Fours, women's Final Fours. So a lot of great opportunity coming in the future.
So we are primarily a business organization, and I want to tell you something about Monica. Not only is she an expert with sports, and there's a difference between planning an event and running a sports commission. Monica did something remarkable with USA Taekwondo. They were on the verge of bankruptcy. They brought her in, and in 18 months, she took it from a money-losing organization to in the black. Can you talk to us, and maybe there are some principles from your experience that we can all take as business leaders in the community?
Yes, so my time at USA Taekwondo was really to rebuild the events program as well as the high performance program in terms of look at different ways to generate business, both on a state, a regional basis, and then through national tournaments. So looking at not only obviously entry fees and that sort of thing to run events, but the sponsorship aspect, vendor aspect of each of those entities, and really additional funding for potential athletes that are looking to go to Olympic Games, et cetera. So very proud of that and what we were able to accomplish there.
So let's take a flashback to the summer of 1994. The World Cup came to the USA for the very first time. Is there anybody in the room that went to any of the games in the US or in Dallas? Was that Michelle? Yes. So there was one game that was played in 1994 that's very, very famous. Can you tell us what that game was? And it's widely considered one of the greatest games ever in the World Cup.
Well, definitely, I would say Brazil, Netherlands. Still, people talk about it today. We do site visits as we're preparing for 2026, and I think it was one of the transportation team liaisons from FIFA was in town, and he was actually from Brazil, and we were showing some things, the Fan Fest area around Fair Park, and he's like, "Is that Cotton Bowl Stadium?" And I said, "Well, yes." And he starts shaking over there, and I said, "Why?" He goes, "Do you think you could take me down on the pitch? I just want to step on the grass that was utilized for 1994 and be in that stadium." And people all around the world still talk about the DFW region and the importance of 1994 World Cup and what that Brazil-Netherlands game meant.
And so I've got a slide up here. We had 6 matches, and we had what was called the International Broadcast Center. Can you explain why that's important, the International Broadcast Center, what it means, and then what it might be looking like for this World Cup?
Absolutely. So very fortunate in 1994 to be the host of International Broadcast Center. It was also at Fair Park. But what that really means is all of the broadcasters from around the world come to one location. All of the matches the feed comes out of one location. So even though the match may be taking place in Miami or New York, New Jersey, what's going out across the world was coming out of Dallas. We have that unique opportunity as well. This coming year, or for 2026. Hopefully, we will find out an announcement from FIFA very soon that the International Broadcast Center will be at the Kay Bailey Hutchison Convention Center in downtown Dallas. But it gives us the opportunity to have those broadcasters, between 3,000, 5,000 broadcasters in our market, to be able to tell our story. They'll be in the market like mid-May of 2026 all the way through the end of July. So yes, they'll be working and hopefully playing in our region as well. But we're trying to get in front of them stories, the things to do, the reason why we love living here, and have them experience some of our culture and the excitement here. One, so that they can continue to write about that and share that with the people from their country, and hopefully increase the tourism in the future. But we also feel that it's a great way to continue to establish this North Texas region as a true global destination, whether it's for businesses, for headquarters, for tourism and people to visit, all the way around. So we see that as a very, very unique piece. Obviously, the economic impact that goes along with it, but that messaging is extremely important.
So let's talk about the significance of being chosen as the host city. I'm going to put on the screen, this is a list of all the host cities that are chosen. And if you are a moderate to large size city in Mexico, the Canada, or the US, you are gunning to be chosen. And Monica, what year, so the World Cup will be in 2026, what year did you start preparing the bid to be chosen as a World Cup host city?
Well, I have two answers for you here, okay? Really, this bid started in 2017. However, I really consider it being in 2010, when the 2018 and 2022 World Cup bids came out. We were unsuccessful. Obviously, went to Russia and Qatar in 2018 and 2022. But when we got the call in 2017, I can remember the day. It was July, right after July 4th, and somebody called who was involved in the previous bid, and they're like, "We're just testing the waters here, Monica. Are you ready? Would you entertain another World Cup bid?" I'm like, "I've only been waiting 7 years for the phone call. Let's go." You know, like, yes, we want to host the World Cup. I mean, it only comes around every 30 or so years. So, but what 2010 bid practice helped us do is to really lay that foundation and have a much clearer understanding of what was going to be needed for the bid, so that we could be successful this last time. And this bid is like none other, because when you're putting your information together, you have to win the right to host for your country, or in this case, countries, since it's Canada, Mexico, and the United States that were all taking part in the bid process. So only after you're announced as a host city do you actually start to vie against your other U.S. cities that were kind of in the mix there for the number of matches and those types of things.
So when you were you bidding as with the larger United States, or were you also bidding with Canada and Mexico to have it be held in all three countries?
So the first part of the bid is all U.S. cities, and then the Canadian Soccer Federation as well as Mexican Soccer Federation put in the cities that would represent their country. So we worked with U.S. Soccer, and then they created a united bid committee for all three countries and the cities that represent. So we're really pushing from 2017 to 2018 for the right for Canada, Mexico, and the United States to host. It wasn't until, so FIFA made the announcement in June 2018 that it was coming to North America, but not until 2022 did we actually know that we were going to be a host city. Some of that was due to COVID and the little delay there, but that's kind of the length of time that it took FIFA to figure out which cities were going to be actually hosting matches.
On the screen, we can see there are 16 host cities, but there are more cities that have an opportunity to to play a key role in the World Cup. Can you talk about two things? Number one, what is a base camp? And number two, what is a fan fest? And how could Fort Worth maybe play a role in both of those?
Absolutely. So a base camp is really a venue paired up with a hotel where the 48 teams that'll be participating in the World Cup will each choose a base camp. And it is where between 5, 10, maybe 30 days prior to the World Cup, that team will come, practice here, live here, practice, live, fly to, let's say, Kansas City for the day before their match. They'll practice there, play their match. Then they're going to come right back here to their base camp and live here, practice here until they need to fly off to their other match. So we have 5 base camps here, locations identified, with TCU here in Fort Worth being one of them. We feel like one of the top options and premier options for the countries that are looking for base camp locations. You pair that up with the central location in DFW International Airport. We feel like it's a good mix because of the closeness to other cities within the United States, but then easy access to Canada and Mexico from DFW. And in fact, TCU hosted a team this past summer or last summer for Copa America event. So that we feel like that's great economic impact. You'll get additional people in addition to the teams that are actually playing over at AT&T Stadium in Arlington. So, and some of those teams can be pretty big and have really big fan bases and excitement that they bring in to each of the cities and into the region. So if you get a England, Spain, the Netherlands, which comes with their orange army of people to kind of support. So I think the base camps are also a way for the cities and the communities that get chosen for them to really explore the cultural excitement of those teams and find the various restaurants and make it kind of special for them. But really their home away from home is kind of what we're looking at there. The kicker there is we won't know who's in the base camp or if it's being utilized until March of 2026. So short time period after that because matches start in June. In terms of FanFest, each city that is a host city can put on official FIFA Fan Festival, but then also we have the opportunity for public viewing, watch party, fan zones, and it's from the very beginning of this bid, we want to ensure that there is a World Cup feel in all of in all of the region. It may not be every city within the region because it is pretty vast, but we just received some public viewing guidelines this morning. I haven't had a chance to read what those look like, but we do want downtown Fort Worth, whether it's around Sundance Square, over at Cowtown, something like Stockyards, to have that World Cup feel and have fan zones that people that, may be staying in Grapevine can come over here and experience this fan zone and then, 2 days later go experience the one in Dallas or vice versa. Feel like with the number of visitors, it's a great way for not only residents to be able to experience World Cup if they can't get over to a match, but to have a lot of activity for visitors as well.
So Monica, I'm going to ask you to dream with us a little bit here in the DFW area. If you were the top team in the world or one of the top teams and you were going to choose a base camp, you'd probably want to choose the most centrally located city among the 3 countries. And if you look at that map, it's pretty obvious where the most centrally located city is. So if you were making a short list of the top teams that might have the greatest probability of choosing Fort Worth or Dallas, let's say Fort Worth, as a base camp, and we're not gonna hold your feet to the fire on this, but what are maybe the top few teams that come to mind? Knowing that TCU is one of the best fields.
Yes?
I'm just throwing it out there. We can edit this video later.
Well, you've already have experience with Argentina, I believe. So if we could get another Argentina here, England here, Spain here, Netherlands, those are some pretty good teams to have in market. And you look at the teams that, you also want to have the possibility to go the farthest in the tournament. So you want them here they'll for sure be here through the group stage no matter what. But the fact that, they can stay maybe a little longer through the group or through the knockout rounds, I think is also important.
And we'll find out what team chooses what base camp when?
Anticipating March 2026. So the draw of who is in what group and where they're playing, their group stage matches, doesn't take place until December of 2025. So after that, each of the teams are already doing site visits. Some of it will be matched up based on the pods that they'll be playing in. So they may have a geographical area that they have to choose their base camp in. But what happens after that is based on their ranking. So if there are 2 teams that say, hey, TCU is my favorite, or probably going to be more than just two teams wanting TCU, but it would go in world ranking order. So whoever's the highest, okay, you're the first one that select TCU, you will get TCU. And then the other one gets to go to their second and third.
All right, fingers crossed. I'm sure we'll hear all about speculating who's coming and when they're coming.
You just have too great of an infrastructure here, and FIFA intentionally really chose the university campuses because it's not just about the pitch and not just about the hotel, but the media center, the workout facilities, the closeness and geography to get to DFW International Airport. And some of those host cities up there don't have base camps. We're very fortunate here in the North Texas region of our universities and the commitment to continuing to elevate and keep those facilities really top notch. So there's a possibility there may be another one added here down the road. And I'm like, at one point, it looked like we may have been getting to 7 base camps. And I'm like, there's only 48 teams in the World Cup. You know, we could have 7 out of 48. That's a pretty high percentage from a base camp standpoint. But I also think that it shows the spirit of our region and how great facilities and people that we have here.
Well, and that's one thing special too, is it's not just Dallas, and it's not just Arlington, it's not Fort Worth. What's good for McKinney is good for DeSoto, is good for Fort Worth. So we're really working together as a region to make this a win for everybody, aren't we?
Oh, yes, this is a must. This will be the largest event that we've ever seen here in this region. FIFA has just expanded the number of teams, but there's not one city here that has all of the facilities, all of the hotels, all of the practice facilities, all the ancillary event space, and each of our cities are very unique and have something to offer our residents and the visitors that coming here. So I think it's very exciting. You know, everybody has the image of, you know, what is Dallas, what is DFW. Some still think of, you know, J.R. Ewing and that sort of thing from the show, especially the international ones that come over. So this is a great opportunity for everybody to kind of lend in. And I've been able to witness kind of a unity across the Metroplex. I know everybody still needs their own, you know, benefits and the economic impact that comes along with it, but everybody is really working together. We have a lot of working groups across safety, security, transportation. I could kind of go on and on and on the planning side and operational side, but it really takes the entire region to be successful.
Well, and one of the coolest things, if you go anywhere in the world, any country, cowboys are cool. Cowboys, I try to wear my cowboy hat. When we'd go to this Smart Cities conference in Barcelona, I wore my cowboy hat the first year. Everybody loved it so much. We brought 300 cowboy hats the next year to give away. And we had people from Nigeria and Lithuania running up to try on the cowboy hat and take pictures. So that's something that we definitely have to our advantage.
Oh, without a doubt. And hopefully our FIFA people aren't watching this, or they won't have seen it. Before, we're hosting a commercial partner and broadcast partner summit for FIFA the first week of March. And there is a social event that they will be out, and collectively across the region, we will be giving all of them their own official cowboy hat. And I think Fort Worth has a bandana that they're going to be able to embroider their initials on, and really leaning into the cowboy theme, because we know that's kind of a draw and signature, not only of Fort Worth, but from an international standpoint as well. So we'll be leaning into that. And we've got some announcements and things rolling out in March and April that I think you'll see some of the maybe Western culture evolve a little bit into our World Cup experience.
March and April, we'll stay tuned. Okay, so on this slide, this is what I love to talk maybe the most about, scale. If you see, we've gone, most World Cups are 32 days. This World Cup will be bigger, 39 days. You've got games. Most World Cups are 64 games. This is now 104 games. And then teams have been expanded from 32 to 48. So if you forget everything else, here's the headline. The World Cup is the largest sporting event in the world, and this is poised to be the largest World Cup in history. Hence, this will be the largest event in history, sporting event, right?
Yeah, without a doubt. Recently, the expansion from 32 teams to 48 teams, when you look at it, that means that there's potentially 16 teams that are participating in this World Cup that have never been to a World Cup before or haven't been in a very long time. So when we started bidding on this in 2017, it was supposed to be 80 total matches, with 60 of those matches taking shape in the United States. Now we're up to 104 total matches, with DFW hosting 9 of those matches, the only city with 9 matches, the most. So a great opportunity to really expand from what we thought might be a few weeks of matches. We initially thought during the bid process, and probably even maybe all the way through 2022, kinda, that we were talking 4 or 5 matches here. To have 9 matches, the scope has really expanded.
And each one of those matches has the economic impact equivalent of what would you, is it a Super Bowl?
Well, it kind of depends. Some of it's going to depend upon the matchups, who are in the group stage. Maybe some of the group stage matches might not be as large as some of the knockout rounds, et cetera. But overarchingly, FIFA worked with, did their own study and then did a breakout for each individual city or region of what do they think the economic impact is going to be. And really anticipating between $1.5 to $2.1 billion in economic impact across those 9 matches. That probably didn't include a full 5 base camps, probably 3 or 4 in there, but that did include the International Broadcast Center. So if we're lucky enough to be named that here shortly, that we do feel like that is pretty a good estimate. We'll obviously continue as we know countries, et cetera, but yeah, 9 Super Bowls, not too far off. I think the magnitude of what you see in Super Bowl week, as a Super Bowl goes on, normally it's like a week's worth of event. We'll have a possibility of doing that once, at least into that semifinal match.
So for all of us in the room who are business owners or have business owners in our network or our clients, how could some of the small or local businesses get involved in participating or servicing or being a provider or vendor for some of these major needs during the World Cup?
Yes, so we're trying to work with FIFA right now to have a diversity supplier network, Business Connect program. We're going to stand one up as an organizing committee here probably in the next week or so to start collecting the information from the businesses and what all types of products and services that are offered, as well as the certifications that kind of go along with that. FIFA is going to stand one up, but it's probably not going to be until later this spring, early summer, because they're not only FIFA, but their partners that say are over the overlay and infrastructure build out around the stadium, some of their other ancillary events or parties that they may be doing, volunteer centers that they're building. They're going to be starting to send out RFPs here locally for businesses and for those services. Right now, sometimes they share them with us, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they send them out directly to lists that they have. So we've asked them, can we have one central location that we can ensure that our business communities across the region can go to, or at least please send it to us so that we can distribute it to our list, put it out on our social media channels, send it out to all of our city representatives so that we can try to keep as much business as possible here.
So there's so much to celebrate, as you can tell just from the anecdotal evidence and from the data about having this come, but there's also the other side. There's the not so pleasant side, there's the challenges. Can you talk to us a little bit about, when preparing your bid, what were some of the questions that FIFA asked, and what were some of the things that tend to follow these large sporting events that we don't necessarily think about or like to talk about?
I don't necessarily call them challenges, I call them opportunities. But they're opportunities for us to improve maybe systems that we currently have and leave them as lasting legacies, or operate that long list of logos and those major events that are going to continue to come in the future, help us in our operational planning. So when we were in the bid process, I won't say number one, but one of the top ones was our transportation and ensuring that spectators, how are we going to get spectators, especially the international traveler, out to AT&T Stadium? A lot of other World Cups, I mean, Qatar basically built a metro system specifically for the World Cup. People in Europe travel a lot by the rail systems and that sort of thing. So really putting a plan together, working with the North Central Texas Council of Governments, and like, how are we going to do this? And contractually, we do have to provide transportation to all ticket holders on match day. Locally, people know, I mean, they're going to, drive as normal out to AT&T Stadium, et cetera. FIFA takes care of their key stakeholders in the teams, the officials, their staff, some of the media, and some of the broadcasters. But it was really that spectator that we're looking at. So working with Trinity Metro, working with DART and COG, to put together a plan to really utilize the rail system from both sides to that Centerport station right south of DFW, and then we have a slew of buses that will be on a specific route, taking those spectators back out to the stadium and then back to Centerport station, where they can then disperse after that. So how can we improve upon that in the future? I mean, I might have some thoughts upon that, but that's a much lengthier conversation. So transportation is one. We want to share the system that we do have, but we want to make sure from a hospitality and ease standpoint that these international visitors have a great experience from when they arrive at DFW International Airport to whether they're coming to Fort Worth, whether they're going to Dallas and whatnot. And obviously the ability to get across the Metroplex, I think, is important as in their free time to be able to explore and see things. The other thing that people ask, what keeps you up at night? Safety and security. I mean, it's our world has changed a lot. So within the last year, definitely since 2017 that we bid on this, knowing that we were looking at 4 or 5 matches, looking at 9 matches. When you talk about FIFA Fan Festival, Russia had their largest day of a FIFA Fan Festival was about roughly 166,000 people. Qatar, their largest day was 99,000 people coming to a Fan Fest. And Fan Fest just be 39 straight days. So ensuring we want everybody to have fun, but we also want to ensure that it is a safe World Cup. So there are 18 different working groups on the public safety and security side and subcommittees underneath that, and that is representation across the region. So you've got Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington, Frisco, Irving, PD, you've got the FBI, you've got our friends on the federal side, DHS, as well as at the state level, all layering into that safety security. It's probably the largest working group and committees that we have there. But those were all things that really we addressed and started planning for a little bit in the bid process.
Okay, last question before we open it up to the audience. 2 questions, actually. Number 1, for those of us interested in volunteering or getting involved, how can we do that? And number 2, for those of us not interested in volunteering, how can we buy tickets?
Okay, I knew this question always comes. We should have just knocked it out at the beginning on the ticket side of things, but I'll answer volunteering first. FIFA will open recruitment for volunteers in August, or that is the current plan. There will be a full-fledged volunteer center that opens in November of 2025 and will be open all the way through July of 2026. What the framework of the volunteer requirements are, we don't necessarily have, but FIFA has a long list of their volunteer needs, and then us as a city and region, more the hospitality side, have a list of what our volunteer needs are. It will all be managed through a system. You can go to DallasFWC26.com. There's a place to say that you're interested to volunteer. It's going to go in our database that we collect for many of these larger events that we do. And once we're able to turn on the FIFA system for volunteering, you'll be the first to know about the opportunities to go in there. But there's a very nice uniform if you're selected as a volunteer that Adidas does not provide. We provide as an organizing committee, but it is all Adidas. Tickets. There was a deposit program that was sent out, I believe, in December or early January, that you could put a $500 deposit down, basically, to have first access to be able to, kind of a lottery system, to purchase tickets. That one, they were very successful there. I think next month, they're going to come out with another opportunity. And when I say deposit, when you are selected to get tickets to a certain match, that deposit then rolls over to cover part of the cost of what your final ticket order is. So what is available right now are suite packages and lounge package and hospitality packages at AT&T Stadium. So we have a 9-match, an 8-match, which you can mix AT&T Stadium and other stadiums that are hosting World Cup matches. And then we have a 4-match venue series, which 4 matches are 4 matches of the group stages. There's a follow your team. Even though we don't know where the teams are, you can go ahead and reserve a suite and package for that. So varying prices. If somebody is interested in that, come see me. But they're suites from 12-person suite, 17-person, 41. So the pricing is a little bit all over the board, but I can give you some ranges.
A few minutes to stick around for other questions?
Yes.
Okay, what was the name of that website?
DallasFWC26.com. So it's our organizing committee. It has information on the human rights side of what those plans are, the sustainability side, those who may potentially like to be a host city supporter and donor, different legacy elements that's not on there yet, but it will be on there. Because one of the things, not only do we want to host a successful World Cup and the economic impact and the, global recognition as a destination, but the legacy piece is something critically important to us. Legacy is highly dependent upon us raising enough money to cover the bills of hosting a World Cup, but then what are things that we can do here or leave here after the World Cup is gone that can benefit our entire community. Some of that is in the sustainability front, some of it is in the human rights front, but a lot of it also is in the soccer space. Underserved areas, we are definitely deficient in the number of soccer pitches that we have here. There's need in educational front through sport and through soccer that we're looking at. So there's a working group that includes full regional representation there as well to really try to identify where are some of those areas and what are some of the other even nonprofits that we can work with. Maybe some of those decisions don't happen until later on in our planning, but we're trying to get the framework at least identified right now.
Raise your hand if you're ready for the World Cup. Please help me thank Monica Paul for her time today. Thank you, Monica.
Thank you, Monica. Thank you, Carlo. That was wonderful. How exciting. The biggest global event. That's pretty cool. Monica, thank you so much for being here. We do have a gift to give you. We appreciate you taking the time to be here. And in your name, we've made a donation to the Rotary Polio Plus Foundation. Also, we know Carlo will be keeping us informed as we work towards this, and as we build towards this in the future and for next year. Ed, get ready. I think we have an event we need to add. Just kidding, Ed. Sounds good though, doesn't it? Okay, just a few closing announcements. Everyone, thank you again, K&L Enterprises, Karen and Larry, for your sponsorship. Thank you to the Richard L. Knight RMBA sponsors. We appreciate you. Good luck for everyone tomorrow and in the Cowtown this weekend. And don't forget, we'll see you here next week. We'll be hearing from UTA President Dr. Jennifer Calley and all of the growth happening in our higher education arena. Thank you all. Have a great weekend. We are adjourned.